And the next topic in our agenda is healthcare supply chain transformation through technology, integration, RPA, and the digital revolution. And to talk on this topic, I request Mr. Neeraj Dhabhai, Vice President Commercial, Rainbow Children's Hospital, to please come upon the stage. Everyone, please welcome him with a big round of applause. Mr. Neeraj is the Vice President of Commercial at Rainbow Children's Hospitals. He leveraged his extensive experience in supply chain management and healthcare to drive business growth and operational excellence. With a Doctor of Pharmacy degree from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Anantapur, and an MBA from Wheelinger Institute of Management, Mr. Neeraj has a strong foundation in both pharmacy and business administration. Everyone, please welcome Mr. Neeraj with a very big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. I think I've been put in front of 1,000 years of experience. The guys who are sitting here, I think, put together, we have 1,000 years of experience in supply chain. So if I talk on supply chain in front of the 1,000 years of experience, I need to very picky. So I'll choose only those areas where you, like whatever you, the entire chain works. The toughest part in healthcare which ends with the patient. So anything in the chains breaks, it affects the life of the patient. So I'm the one who started my career with the pharma. I worked with Abbott India. I have worked with Jadis Cadila. Then I moved to a healthcare supply chain, a hospital where the end use is happening. So I understand the pain of both the sides. What happens in pharma, what happens in hospital. So there are some of the, maybe you might have come across many incidents which will trigger you ki yes, we are important, our process is important. I'll start with one small incident which changed my thought process about supply chain. Before reaching to the end curves which we are talking, I'll just give a small example. I was working with one of the hospital in 2008-9. One night I got a call from one of our leading doctor who's handling the PSU, NICU area. He called me, Neeraj, I need your help. And I can see the pain in his voice, he's really in trouble. Can you come? Because I used to stay near to hospital. I came, he told, I need one injection which is Surventa, which is surfactant. If that injection is not given within 4 hours of the incident, we are very much sure we are going to lose the baby. And baby is, generally is a premature babies where the lungs are not developed well. That moment I was shocked. He let me try to get the injection. The other guy could able to arrange the injection at 12:30. We administered the drug. Doctor was kind enough to pass the message to parents. The baby got saved due to the one guy who's sitting in supply chain. No one know them. Next day morning when I'm reaching to my cabin, one family is waiting outside my cabin. I shocked to see because we are the generally backbenchers. No one knows what supply chain does. Suddenly one family waiting in front of my cabin and I can see tears in their eyes and they just try to touch my feet. Sir, thank you, sir. It's very tough. We reached to a stage where we are expecting a baby and now this baby was in danger. And you are the one who helped me to get this injection and we saved the life. So that's give you a pride, a different feeling, a kick. You say in other word, a kick. Yes, what we do is makes sense for many lives. So from there I started thinking on how I can add value to my process. Doing a normal supply chain doesn't going to work. How? Because in India, you have a limited resource. Moment you go to any of your HR, CO or MDs, you ask for a cost, they look for a cost center. You are not a revenue center, they'll push you hard. Limited numbers, limited resource. So you need to prove yourself first what you wanted to state, it's right. So in 2016, when I moved to Reliance, that was 2nd January where I realized supply chain is important. Now what else is important inside supply chain? So we used to have somewhere 700 patients in same building, which is a Reliance Kokiram and Ambani hospital. 700 patients in same building, one supply chain team sitting at generally -2 or -3. So any of the building, the SCM will have given the least preference. They see where they can put them. So they'll put generally in the entire stores or function, they keep in -2. And the strike rate of request is much higher. 700 patients sitting in 18 floors. All request comes to a -2. Managing at that kind of thing is really tough. Each refresh gives you a 200 request. So I have gone to my CIO. Sir, I feel ki what we are doing, we are not adding much value. Each dispensing, I do 7 clicks. I started with basing because I have done Six Sigma. Under that, we have done some analysis of how much time is spent in each step which take to bring medication. So from my dispensing counter to a drug dispensing till patient bed, we studied each step, how many steps we have taken. So we realized more than a step, we are doing the IT work. So if IT is helping us in any way, we could reduce maybe 40% of my time. So 7 click in each patient into 700 patients, and that too one indent. And doctors will have easily 2 or 3 rounds, depends on the patient requirement. So first trigger, let me go and ask here what value I'm adding to going in different screens, clicking 1, 2, 3, 4, then generating one print, then guys goes and we dispense. So I have gone, sir, why not we think differently? With 1 click, can we have a dispensing of 700 patients? Instead of, and it's a pick list. We are not adding any clinical fact where we are trying to do drug-drug interaction or anything. We are not adding any value. So can we generate? Yes, let me think and come back to you. Next day he came, this process is not for India. We have in the software, but not for India. So tough thing is acceptance of supply chains. They will tell it's not there for India. Then I told, it's there in the system. I have seen in the UAT environment. No, Neeraj, it's not there. So that year I started thinking on, let me educate first myself on technology. So from supply chain, I start knowing in the market, I am the guy who is a technology guy who also do supply chain. So the perspective of the company you need to change. I have done my first data analytics. I have done my RPA, robotic process automation. I have done my BI dashboard. So before presenting to any of those fraternity who feels that supply chain is still the organic way of handling the things, no, we need to advance it. So here we started. So I come with 18 years of experience. I'll just give brief on supply chain automation, entire transformation of digital of hospital, especially healthcare transformation. I have even published a book on supply chain, which is specific to a healthcare hospital segment. So we do a lot of planning in supply chain. That is taught us from the schools. Every year we have a new syllabus, new plan, which starts from plan, do, check, and we do the hardcore thought process of quarter, year. If we are in sales, we do annual planning, quarter planning, sales achievement. If you're in supply chain, we do cost planning. So where it starts, when we are starting in a year, we do planning entire year. We promise to ourselves, we need to deliver so many things. Then, but quarter goes, we got so many priorities. Some audits, some other priorities we miss on the plan. And finally, one more pillar lying the backup of last quarter. And again, we are thinking still, I am not on my bottom line. There are lot of priorities which pushed me to miss my many action points. So quarter and quarter goes, the pillars started accumulating. Finally, at end, we promise whatever happened, last quarter to push. Let me have a new plan. Finally, at last quarter of year, we feel that this year we missed, but we have one more year to do. So this is the typical issue if we not plan properly, whether it's advancement in technology or any kind of deliverables which we wanted to deliver. So I have done the MRI scan. Being in healthcare, we have a free service of doing MRI at staff, especially. So we thought, let me think what we are missing compared to others. A supply chain guy or any guy who do surgery, they go with the surgery, they come back with surgery, and they are all clean. Okay, that's everything gone well. Whether the supply chain guy, they'll find, when you sit in appraisals, they'll ask only one question, what else you have done? Because whatever you've done is part of your role. So what else getting as a tough? So I thought, let me do a scan. It's a normal person, any guy who's high achiever, doing good. You find there's a single driver, single thought process, running thing, and they achieve the goals. When it came to supply chain, things are common. Still, we have a one driver. But we find lot of triggers to miss our deadlines. Lot of urgencies came in between. So morning you go with your checklist. Today I need to deliver these 10 things, which is my priorities. But moment the exigency comes, things comes, you miss the control of your life. And this is a typical situation which lands up into, if we are not having a proper controlled kind of way of handling the things, we miss the control of our deliverables. So generally, I divide into my priorities of any supply chain guy. The first priority of any supply chain guy is negotiation. Second priority comes, if you wanted to deliver high, is a digital transformation. Without digital transformation, in the current scenario, delivering a high results is impossible. So it's a typical kind of a flow. So every year, I sit with the same flow. I review, starting from a request till ending to a patient relieving a right medication and payment. Every year I get 2 projects which I need to improve. So we need to review our own processes on every year plan. It's not a business plan only, we need to have a process review plan also. And we will get, I got 10 projects last year out of my process. Out of that, I pick any 2 where I need to have a priority. So out of this, I'll just share a one incidence. This is a typical, I think many of us are non-hospital guys. I'll give you a brief how a hospital works. So we'll have a nursing unit where the nurse and the patient ward. We have a pharmacy or supply chain area where all dispensing and logistic works happen. We have a nurse and doctor. A doctor who triggers your all, start from raising a request or raising a complaint. Doctor will give a prescription, which the 2 kind of prescription, there are very few organizations right now in India who do a complete digital EMR. So 90%, 99% I'll say is a manual prescription, which need to be transformed by your nurse or a clinical pharmacist or a data entry operator. It depends on a hospital to hospital. This reconciliation goes to pharmacy. There they will review the appropriateness of prescription, what they have indented is right for the patient, any kind of contraindication for drug to patient or drug to drug, any duplication, then the drug is removed, arranged, kept in carrots. I need to say there's a lot of error-prone areas here where in the same area, you'll have a 200 to 300 bags are packed to dispense in different wards, different patients, and different beds. And this is a smart guy who generally we know as a runner who runs between supply chain to the operation team, who deliver the stocks. The drugs are received against vouchers, they acknowledge, the process ends here. But now we need to keep downloading in the last process what we missed, where we are the areas where we need to improve. Keep downloading our thoughts, keep reviewing our thoughts and process. So this is I'll just give you a brief challenges in supply chain in terms of hospital healthcare, or I think many things is common pain points. Item code creation until we not have a good team who manage the MDM, it's tough to have a good structure of data. If structure of data is not good, whatever analysis, AI, ML we talk is a waste of time. And in Indian scenario, I'll tell you one small example. One data scientist came to us and they told ki we need to run a model on patient scenario. Why we waste time counseling patient, ki your bill will be 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs and 4 lakhs. By the time they discharge, bill is 10 lakhs. Why we need to have a manual process? So these two smart guys came to us and we given them a task. Can you do a prediction model on predicting a patient bill? Things are very well. They studied 2-3 models. They came finally, so this model is fitting very well. And generally in healthcare, the acceptance of any model is not less than 90%. If you do less than 90% accuracy, the model is failed. These guys have done the model on one of the hospital, which is global Mumbai. And finally they realized, sir, we cannot do anything. Because many of the time, a doctor wanted to take patient inside the hospital. If he tells your bill is 10 lakhs, patient will go to somewhere else. So he will do the wrong prediction on the paper, which is fact, it happens. They enter for the A package, landed to a Y package. So too many if and but in any prediction. So we reached to a 75% of accuracy, which the leadership team have thrown, ki we cannot work on 75%, you work again. Plus capturing of data. The capturing of data is, I feel is the toughest task in India. When we are talking on a bigger organization where you have a 70 or 70 plus hospitals, and you need to make sure that each end user is filling a right data of patient. It's becoming a toughest challenge. PO generation, follow-up of pending orders, GRN preparation, payment processing, indenting, issue of medication patients. This all become I identified as challenges. Then how we can resolve those things? What are tool we can use to improve my dependency on a manpower? There are many things. So I implemented a RPA in our current organization where we automated 17 function through RPA. Out of 17 functions, few are the reminders for the drug also. Like we know the logic, if A and B drug is given together, there are chances of a severe effect. So we put a logic in RPA, it's an unattended bot which runs in night and triggers a alert to a clinical pharmacist or doctor. Sir, out of these 10 patients, these 3 patients seems to be a risk because the drug which is administered seems to be somewhere we missed some controls. So it gives a quality, cost, efficiency, and speed. Then I'm running out of time. I'll make it little fast. Snehal has given me a little tight schedule to us. We can talk for 2 days also for supply chain. So this is the typical process which happens on any of the hospital where approval goes from hospital to hospital. Like any central organization, whether it's a Manipal or any group, they have a central hub which controls the process of approval. And each unit which is in different cities, they initiate the approval process. This was the day 1 where they raised the request. Unit raise a capex or a normal patient drug request, which is unique, which is out of formulary. It goes to table for approval. There's a committee, medical director, unit finance, unit head, then it comes to a corporate. So many of the days takes days to travel this process. Many times, by the time we get approval, patient is already discharged. So we need to identify a process which can give us a systemic control and trigger to a right person and bypass if required if they are not responding on time. So here you see till capex approval, CEO, CFO, fund confirmation, it took 28 days when we reviewed because this was on paper. And when I joined the organization, I will not name it, they haven't given me a handover one room. So this is part of your kitty. Lot of papers because they don't have a trust on system that can be forged. They'll give you a lot of papers. And getting anything out of that is impossible. You cannot run any analysis out of that. Who have taken a more time, who delayed, who purposefully pushed something else. So we put a robotic process which reduce this overall time. We categorize the request. We identify key doctors. And the entire process we reduce to 5 days. And it will be a great help. Like it became one of the story in the hospitals, and they started coming to our hospital to visit how you control your process in RPA. My entire vendor follow-up, vendor reminders happens through this. My entire triggering to a right person if they miss any control happens through the same RPA. There are many more things which we add in supply chain, like negotiation portals. To get the biggest issue in supply chain is getting a trust and transparency. So moment we go for any kind of good bidding tool or auction tool, I think many of you who is from the other side of hospital, they already might use many tools. But in hospital, I have never find any chain is using a end-to-end automation, which was a vacuum in the industry. So we are the one who started. We are the 3 modules we have completed. Now my entire auction, RFQ, bidding, comparative, drug approval happen through this portal only. Thank you. I'll just sum up. I think time's up. Thank you, everyone. Any question?
Thank you, sir. We would like to felicitate you. I request Mr. Nikhil Kamath, Business Director, SAP, to please come upon the stage and felicitate our speaker. Everyone, please give them a big round of applause.